them are old. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Boy.
Cozumel, Mexico. You know,
Oh, I
I'm
should have
I'm
worn my
I'm
shirt.
fluent now. You got a shirt on from another birthday trip last year's
Yeah.
Trap Music Museum. Period. Welcome to Twin Tuition. My name is Donnie Akeem, whichever you prefer.
Brit Brat or twin, whichever one you prefer.
Yes, and we have a very familiar face in the building. Our ex. Our ex teammate, ex co-host,
Forever
Jamal.
our brother.
Yes, it is Jamal or Jamal P or White
Oh,
Wizard or Milwaukee's Best or All Seeing Eye. It's nice to
And
be
my
back.
choreographer.
Period. Period. In addition to that, we have my very best friend in the building. She did a show with us, I think, about zodiacs
Yes.
on Horizontal Refreshments before. But welcome back, Alex. How do we
Like,
clap for
looking to
both of y'all at the
argue again
same
tonight.
time? Um, where is the applause,
Oh,
honey?
Lord Jesus, he can't
Um,
round
okay,
of
well,
applause.
a round of applause to both of you. I can't find it. So, um,
Just
welcome. We're just gonna quick go through this. Me and Brittany just got back from Mexico. And yeah, it was fun and crazy and everything a birthday trip should entail.
you should have seen him snorkeling.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
No, I did not.
Basically, yes.
No,
Basically.
no, I did not. But it was a fun time. It was a good time. Some of the more positive aspects, since we definitely already discussed the negative sides of it, was Tampa was a fucking amazing.
They
It's
say you don't go
beautiful.
to Tampa to party, but baby, they ain't had no choice with us there.
And mind you,
Turn
it
the
was
fuck up.
weekdays while we were there, and it was cracking. So Tampa was amazing. Mexico is beautiful. Cozumel is beautiful. I would highly suggest going to Cozumel to their resorts, just not on the boat, or at least not Carnival. Um, but yeah, so that's what we've been up to lately. I mean, since we last shot. Y'all got anything that y'all want to promote, talk about, needs to be shared, to our guest?
I don't have anything to promote.
Okay, Miss Graduate.
Right.
Upcoming
well,
graduation.
Well, yes, I have graduation. Is this?
hmm
Okay.
My
so,
voice just deep, so it's
And
gonna
loud.
carry.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't feel like. For those who don't know, I'm in school to be a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. So I will be done in May, and then I take my boards hopefully in June, and hopefully I will
Oh,
be
tell them to go to our
licensed.
comments.
You got this.
Hopefully, I'll be practicing in the fall. So
That's
anyone that
exciting.
needs mental health help, I am available.
Girl, hello.
I know a few.
You know I got issues.
Well, wait, let me clarify too.
Oh,
Let me clarify
Hey,
because
Berto.
in my defense, I ain't had nothing to do with the casting. Okay, this was all twin. Okay,
it was.
I love you. I ain't had nothing to do with this. I almost didn't make it to the show. Okay, I was this close to not coming.
Well,
He
that's
said, "Go,
exciting.
friend." Yes,
That might be
Alex.
for you or you. One of
That's,
y'all.
that's super exciting. And it's crazy how fast time flies too. Like it's like you're about to be done, and it's like you just started.
Whew.
I already have your gift saved. He knows what it is.
Yes. Yes,
It
and
just came to me on Facebook. I was like,
Dude, those ads on Facebook.
it's crazy.
Right. There's got to be the
but
right ones.
you already know I'm in there like swimwear and booty hair. So
He saw your
What school are you going through?
MSOE. Walker
Okay.
School of Engineering. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
period.
And just to clarify, I'm not a therapist, so coming to me, I prescribe meds. I mean, I do some therapy
meds.
within my practice, but I diagnose and prescribe. So,
I'm on meds
Period.
already. I can
oh, well,
see my
So would it be
prescription
more like
now.
kind of
Deadass.
I don't know how they differentiate things, but would it be more like someone needed like psychiatric type of
Right.
diagnosis or something like that?
right.
Or if they went to like a therapist and then the therapist referred them to you after maybe the therapist, I think you might this or something like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. Yep.
And that's period.
My friend's so smart.
I love it. What's
All
new
my
with me?
friends
What's going on with
intelligent,
you, Molly?
a teacher, a nurse,
What's
all-around
going on with
entertainer.
me?
Yes.
Uh,
slash
I feel like there's a lot. But there's a lot, but also not a lot. I've been living in the hashtag, which I'm very big on. Like, if sticking with something, if you believe me, say it enough, it's gonna pop. And
Power
my
of the tongue.
hashtag and what
Yes.
I'm living with is why not 2024.
Period.
Why not go somewhere? Why not meet somebody? Why not hang out? Why not do this? Why not do just
Why
what
not
you want to
fuck?
do? Yeah.
Okay.
Why not that? And yeah, just because I think last year has been full of ups and downs, and even just the beginning of this year has been a lot with my dad who's no longer here, and breakups and other troubles, and then coming out of all that, I'm just like, I just gotta bounce back and be in the why not 2024. But I just came back from New York last week
Period.
with some dope people, and that was fun. I'm going to Minnesota this weekend, and I'm going to Indiana the week after that.
Come on.
Because-
We love a
because-
traveling
Because it is
person.
why not 2024. That's what's new with me.
I love
I'm
it.
happy to see you back traveling because you love to do it.
And I remember,
Sad when
I'm
you
not
take a
gonna
break.
dwell too deep into it because
Yes,
it's
please
personal.
don't. 'Cause listen,
But
I'll cry for
I
him 'cause he ain't gonna
remember
cry.
there was a time where you were worried about some things, and I just you first of all, I feel like this is a trait I feel like it's like the whole group has is like making struggle look like you're not, like you wore it well and you bounced back, and child, to me it felt like it was over before it even really started. I know while you was in it you was like, bitch.
Okay, alone.
But I looked up one day and it was like, oh, I'm doing better. I'm like, oh, he just started going through it.
Period.
Needed that little moment. Because I think sometimes in my personality, I've never really given myself a chance to grieve, to go through stuff, to be in hurt, to be in pain, to be in a struggle, or even if I was, it was always kind of this notion of like just keep going, and that's okay sometimes. But sometimes you do need a moment to like, damn, I need to figure some shit out. I just need to just chill, because I think for me, if things aren't all right, it's hard to fake that sometimes, or it's hard to want to show up, or it's hard to want to do stuff or be around people if if my life doesn't feel the way it needs to.
Oh yeah, I went through that in 2022. I know.
Oh, child.
That was a terrible year, child. Thank God for glory and growth. Had a wonderful last year after that tragic year. So hopefully that same energy will be extended to you. Um, but we are here today with a topic. And it's funny because when I was talking about this topic, um, I was like, damn, me and Brittany and Jamal, we've covered this topic before, but that was before I became a part of this very topic. And I had some opinions, and it's funny because our old conversations are recorded. And I'm like, oh, child, how quickly you may have to eat your way.
Baby, because I wish I could have recorded so many things you'd have changed your mind on. Now,
So as before we get into it, the topic is age gap relationships and um, how we feel about them and how that may look. And now that we're all 3 years older, and Alex wasn't here, there's another perspective. And I hope I'm not saying too much by saying you've had your own experiences with age gap relationships. So there's a complete new perspective and maybe some evolved perspectives here with this topic. So
we shall see.
I'm gonna start it off by saying this. When I first started talking to the current person I was dating, I was in a group chat with Brittany and our other friend Lauren, and I was like, "Yeah, we're 9 years apart." And Lauren was like, "Ain't nothing wrong with that, child." I was like, "But I'm the old one." Like, she was like, "What, child?" She was like, "He's 23." I was like, "Yes, he's 23." She's like, "Oh, child." She's like, "Oh no, ma'am." Like I could not do it. And prior to meeting him, I always said that 25 was the youngest. Like, if you're not, if you're not at least 25, like you can't, rent a car on your own. Even like the 30 plus clubs, you still can't even get into yet at that age. So it's kind of like, okay, Like what you want me to do? Like, but that was something I was adamant about. Like you have to be 25. Like, and just to see where I am now, I have a different perspective. But before we get into everybody else's perspective, I do want to give the literal definition of what constitutes an age gap relationship, which is a relationship that is where you're 5 years or more apart. So what I kind of like to say is that if you didn't go to high school around the same time the person that you're dating, like if you graduated and maybe they started their freshman year, that's kind of like y'all kind of in the same group. But like if y'all wasn't even in high school at the same time, that's a big enough gap to consider it an age gap relationship. So with that being said, has anybody here ever went with someone in an age gap relationship? Which direction and how was that experience?
I've been both.
Uh, Whoever want to go first.
I've been the old one. I've been the young one.
Oh, I remember we'll get into statutory rape later.
Oh, not statutory.
Because you couldn't consent. You couldn't consent.
Oh,
And mind you,
that's what it's called. Though.
I have been in a statutory situation myself.
I mean, yeah.
So
Y'all really, you're young.
That's enough of your
Right. He's
Somebody
like,
don't want that shit to come out, boy.
someone like, what?
It's a nigga under the table, boy.
Trying to take us out.
he said, don't tell that T. Whoop.
Oh,
Is he alive? Was that his ghost?
okay, damn.
Jail.
But let's start with the legal the legal age gaps where everybody could consent.
Right. Well, at least y'all were the young ones. I mean, not at least, but
You
I
weren't
feel like
the
older
perpetrator.
men, they always
Right.
try
Ho-
to
hell no.
manipulate because they felt like I was young and stupid.
when you were a teenager?
No, not when I was a teenager. I was
Oh.
grown. I was legal.
Oh, okay.
But he was still older.
What's the gap?
Anyway.
Old enough to be grandpa or dad?
Right.
Okay. You made it seem like it was grandpa, like it was a
Right.
50-year
I've
age
never-
gap,
I've
like he was
never-
70 when you was
I've
20.
never been able to do the geriatric department, although I would like to think I could, but I can't. The moment he take his teeth out, it'll be. And I know you've had that experience with a younger person. I can't.
No, he didn't take his teeth out; they flew
No,
out.
but whatever. Either or, I can't get with. Like, if your teeth are not a part of your body,
I can't. Have either of you dealt with it?
That's crazy. Yeah, absolutely. I've been on both sides, and it's very interesting how pretty much except my first, well, pretty much I'll just think my relationship with men. So everyone except the middle relationship. So my second one, which that was the closest one in age. We were only like a year apart, or we were pretty much the same age. But my first relationship, and I won't name them. That person was.
Anybody watching knows who he is, Jamal.
Yeah, and that's why I ain't gotta say that. So that first one with the beard,
now we're giving descriptives.
he was a lot older than, I mean, I guess a decent amount. We weren't in high school at the same time. I was 25. I want to say he might have been 30 already, or 31 or 32.
No, he older than me, and I'm 2 years older than you. Oh yeah, he probably was. If you were 25, I was 27.
Yeah.
That gap sound about
And that one, and then the second one, the tall one, he was only, we were the same age. And then my last one, the Filipino one, he was
definitely not watching.
He was right. He was 24, so he just turned 25.
You were
in January, and I'm pretty much 29 when we met, and then 30. Yep. So yeah, in terms of relationships, those are people that I dated.
Now, which one do you feel like was healthier, better, the older one or the younger one?
It's interesting because I feel like they both had their ups and downs, and I think going into them, I follow my head. You find that balance of your head and your heart, especially with that first one. It was my first relationship with a man. I'd never been in one. There's no book on how to do it. There's no way, no path to follow. So, we talked, uh, mutual attraction, hung out, and then after a few months or so, like, okay, let's make it official. And that tends to be the path that I follow anyway. But I think because some of those age differences came different experiences in dating, and different people were setting their ways on different things and how they want to approach things and weren't open to certain things. And I was, how I thought about things, and I don't think age was every single contributing factor to why it ended, but I think it also presented some challenges in that. And then the last one, I think the same way, but on maybe opposite ends of the spectrum of me being the older one, which was weird because I'm just used to always just being the youngest in many circles. And when that changes, it's weird. And, I had my experiences, but I was also very like patient and open in that relationship too. And that person just was dealing with everything they were dealing with already. And I think age and experience also contributed to that as well.
It's funny you said that because I can kind of relate to that because my last two relationships, my last person I dated before this person was 6 years older than me.
Couldn't
And
tell.
Okay.
right. And I don't know if it's just him, but in general, I appreciate the younger, more open mind than the older set in their ways. And I try not to be that in this relationship. Like I try to bend as much as I can when we have conflict, or like when I'm like, I'm used to doing things this way. He's like, maybe you should try this way. So certain stuff I'm like, mind your business. But I try to like not bend because the older you get, the more stuck in your ways I think that you become, and it's important to have an open mind. So.
And it's interesting because the younger person I dated was very stuck in their ways about a certain things and weren't open minded, and it really just
If they're young and like that, imagine that would be a red flag to me all the
Yeah.
time.
Sure
like
would.
you're set in your ways and you're 24. Like
Yeah.
what ways? Like what ways?
Yeah, like you think you might have experienced things, but
Right.
you still have a whole
And life has a funny way.
whole couple whatever many years to experience stuff. And and it really just became a thought of like, I don't know, what are you trying to prove to yourself and everyone around you? And I think that's what it was.
Help him, Lord. What about you, Alex? Just gonna leave him alone.
I have not dated anyone older or younger than me. Thank you. Dang.
Okay.
No, I have not dated anyone younger than 2 years from my age. Yeah, so the youngest I've gone is 2 years younger, but older. 10 plus 7.
17 years.
I was 28. He was 45. Ooh, that was a very interesting relationship. So, when I first went out with him, I didn't expect anything from it. I'm like, just a date, whatever. But we really connected on the first date. I've always been told I think I kind of mellowed out now. But when I was younger, I was told I was very mature for my age. So I tended to gravitate towards people that were older than me. Even when I was a kid, I loved listening to grown folks' conversations because I found them very interesting versus people my age. So with him, we just like connected. We could talk about any and everything. He also was kind of childlike. So it kind of like evened out. However, he was very manipulative, and I did not know that until the end.
They always manipulative.
He had a side life that I had no knowledge of until the end.
Ooh, I remember this.
I do too, actually.
But like he would shower me with gifts. I'm not used to that. Obviously, he was well established given his age. Well, that doesn't mean anything, but he was well established. And like he would do things like, oh, I'm going to pay for you to do this today. You're off today. I'm going to pay for you to do that. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, cool. But in hindsight, I think he was doing that so he knew where I was. And then when I would try to hang out with my friends, it was like, You never spend time with me, but I see you every single day. So,
Do you think his manipulation was? How do I ask this question? Was it because he was older, or do you think it was because you were younger that he knew how to manipulate you because of his age and having more experience than you?
that one, the second one.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I don't want to make it seem like all older men who date younger women are like manipulative or
Oh,
like
no.
out for something or trying to trick women into whatever it may be. Um, some of them are genuinely just interested in what they're
Absolutely.
interested in,
Mhm.
but in this particular situation, he was using his experience against you,
Absolutely.
which is fucked up
Yeah. I will say, I do believe he cared about me. Like, I do
in
believe
his
that
own
in his own
narcissistic
way.
Mm.
I
But
feel that.
he had a track record for being a piece of shit. So,
Yeah. And
but I aside from him, I did date someone that was 10 years older than me, and that was actually a pretty good relationship. Unfortunately, he had recently gotten out of a long-term situation, so it just was bad timing.
Mhm.
But I have nothing negative to say about that situation.
Period.
and that happens. And I think speaking to the last one that didn't end well, because you say, you had a whole nother life and the manipulation. Yeah, I think people like that. Yeah, you know how to do this, and that's part of I think age and experience, and you've been around, you know how to play this game. Because I think in life everything's a game, and technically we're all playing it to win, but everyone doesn't play fair or the way that they should, and things like that. And it sounds like this person cared about you in a very unique way, but also wanted control, and then also like very much wanted his cake and eat it too, type of thing. Like, I just want
I hate that
everything.
phrase. Cause what are you supposed to do with cake? Look at it.
Eat it.
I knew he was.
Ain't you supposed to eat it too?
Right? Ain't that what you're supposed to do?
He wanted everyone. He wanted everything.
Right.
So he wanted his life, his success. He wants you. And then part of, I think, that showering gifts and doing it, because some people can genuinely do it because that's how they like to do it. That's how they show love. And other people can use this of like, okay, you don't have to worry about anything. But because you don't have to worry about everything, you need to listen to me, or I have
They use
power
that
here.
experience against you. And you know what's crazy is that like in my current relationship, so he'll be 24. So right now we're 10 years apart. He'll be 24 in June. But I always tell him like I don't want to change the core of who you are. So like, yeah,
Because he's perfect.
you no. Yeah, you can tailor some things as I do to you, but don't lose yourself in this. Like when I feel like it's a little too much or like I feel like and I'm like, no, you need to go experience this. I'm not trying to make you into my version of who I feel like you should be. I'm very I care a lot about that because if anything were to happen where we don't last, I would like for us to still be a part of each other's lives. And I don't want there to be any like resentment, like, oh, well, you tried to change me, you tried to force me to no. I want you to naturally want to be who you are. If I influence you, that's one thing, but I'm not trying to control you.
Yeah.
It's very important to me.
And not to totally segue from the topic, but something you said that made me think about this.
Go ahead.
I think relationships are, and I have this conversation all the time. It just continues to blows my mind. I think it's just part of just growing and living in life. But relationships are this crazy, beautiful, unique thing that, when I hear the phrase, we don't work out, but I would still want you to be in my life. Do you think that stems from generally, I mean, obviously caring about a person and still like, well, we can still be cool, but do you think that's easier said than done? And do you think that's also a level of like maybe your own selfishness in a way of like, we're not together, but I still want you in my life in a way? It's just a random question.
Well, for me, it's not far fetched. I'm still cool with most of my
I was getting ready to
exes.
say the same.
It's
thing.
only like two that I don't want shit to do with.
Shit stain.
Shit stain. Yes, that's what I'm.
Shadra, I usher in Shadra.
But For me, that's not far fetched. I think when I'm realistically, if I'm in a relationship, it's a little bit weirder and harder. Like I don't currently have a relationship with any of my exes because I don't want to have that conversation with Shondell. So, I mean, they wished me a happy birthday. I said thank you, or they'll like a
Good.
picture or whatever the case may be. But there's no real dialogue happening right now. But there's no beef either, and they're all understanding of that. And if it doesn't happen to work out with me and Shondell because of like past relationship experiences, I know that we just pick up right where we left off and continue our friendship. Because I'm a very honest person, because I really don't have to tell them that my partner, like this is my ex. But my fear is that bitch, it's gonna come out, somebody gonna say something, and it'll be like, who's that? So I just be honest from the jump. So it is very difficult to maintain, but they have their own unique relationship with me as I go through life dating and finding who I'm with. I don't think it's selfish to answer your second part because to me, especially if it's mutual, it's just a decision that we've made. The small part of it, I guess, a little contradictory that may make it selfish is like realistically, how much of myself can I give this friendship when someone new comes in and I have to back away from you, and how that might affect the other person. We've never had those conversations, my exes and I, so I don't know if that affects them. I would assume that they would tell me that in between relationships. No one ever has. They just respect it and back off. And whenever the relationship ends, we're back where we started. So I don't know.
It's complex. It's hard, and that's why I wanted to just pick, folks' brain about that, or as you brought that up, because I'm probably the closest with my first relationship. Time had to heal that, but I don't know if it's because we had a lot of the same friends and circles and continued to see each other and had to be at this event where it just kind of became okay, and then we finally had a conversation, and now like we actually communicate pretty frequently, and it's very interesting how that is. And sometimes I forget that we dated.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think there's a level of like comfort and closeness because of that, where there's like a level of trust. Like I can trust you with the things I'm saying,
Right.
and the level of respect, but then we also like know that we're cool too. And then the second one, it's we're cool, we're okay. I don't know if we'll ever be that
Friends,
close,
yeah.
or or whatever, but like we're cool. And then the third one is where it is right now. I don't know what that was.
Pressed
Cool.
up
Yeah.
where it is right now.
Smithereens.
Do y'all, if y'all had to, if in the perfect world, what is the gap, the perfect age gap, if there is one? Would you like to both parties to be born in 91 or 93, or do you want someone in a perfect world? No disrespect to current relationships.
Oh,
Um,
please.
I doubt
He
Doug
should be
cares.
used to it by now. I talk about all
Mine
kind of
can't
shit.
even listen, but I'm still being respectful because it can't go on Spotify. So, and he's heavy on Spotify. But yes, in a perfect world, what would be the perfect amount of years apart?
Same or one.
Same or one?
I would say maybe 3 or 4.
Either way.
No, I'm not going backwards.
Oh,
Period.
sorry.
My boyfriend now is 2 years younger than me, but I usually don't go backwards. I mean, we've known each other for forever. So
Yeah.
that was an exception.
Okay, so hypothetically, I would say 5 years. I would not go younger unless they were like my precious Beloy Aloysius. Then I would have to make an exception.
Beloy is really smart and emotionally intelligent beyond his years.
Girl, you
Though.
should have just seen him take care of his stuff.
I believe it.
So cute.
So it's not fake because
Yeah,
at
how
first
they
I was
like
like
handle
I didn't know if I believed that it was real because I was like, there's how do you know
They
like
never think us cancers are real.
he's a June Cancer, by the way. Just want to
A
provide
little
that clarity.
different.
He's still a Cancer. Don't hate.
There's a difference.
It
Like
ain't.
February Pisces are very different from March.
No.
That is
No. It-
um,
no difference.
but so you said 3 or 4 years older.
Yep.
In a perfect world, I would have said 5 years older. Like I want you to be a little bit older than me so that you know a little bit more about life than I do because I'm the oldest. So I always have had to figure shit out myself.
absolutely.
It would be nice to have a partner who kind of been there, done that just a little bit before I did to kind of help me navigate certain things that they've already been through so that they can be like, yeah, you don't want to do that. Let me tell you why. So I do think that there's beauty in dating older for me, even like up to 10 years, because they've been there and they can. And I'm not saying like you're going to tell me what to do, but like you can offer your insight and it's more respected because of the experience. And I'm not to say that young people can't, because there's some young people who are 25 who had a very hard life,
Absolutely.
but that on average, that's not the case.
Right.
Mhm.
So I would say 5 to 10 years older than me in a perfect world would have been what I would have aimed for.
That's an interesting perspective. You being the oldest and you
Mhm.
wanting someone to kind of look up to in a sense.
Girl, why you think I joined the frat? Like I didn't get that.
I
but
mean,
that's what I wanted.
true. I guess I just never thought about it like that, and I wonder if that's why I always wanted. And granted, like my family dynamic is a little interesting because I was the firstborn, then became the oldest, and then I became the middle child because then my older brother came in our family when I was in like middle school, like seventh, eighth grade.
Mhm.
But for so many years I was the oldest, and so
Mhm.
I had to like look after my little brother. So I think I still kind of have that older sibling personality trait, even though I'm technically the middle now.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
And then you also think about the part of the missing male role model too. Like
That's
I didn't have
Mhm.
Curtis was in jail. There was no real male bonding happening that was older than me. There was my cousins. We all the same age. So I didn't have that either. So if I had an older brother, that probably would have changed my perspective. But no shade to younger people, but I'll tell Beloit all the time he's smarter than me, like intellectually, and
Yeah.
that he teaches me so much. Some of the shit that he was saying when I met him, I started learning in school, and I was like, how did this little young bitch know this shit?
Mhm.
And
He's very smart.
that's a little intimidating sometimes because I don't think I've ever been with anybody that's smarter than me. That
Sure
I
have.
would.
That's Douglas punk ass. Get on my
But
nerves.
the thing that my advantage is that I don't want to say advantage. It makes it sound like a competition or something.
Life.
But my what I add to him is the experience, and that's what he looks to me. And I'm better with interpersonal relationships than he
Right.
is.
And he loved to learn too.
Yes. So
Mhm.
him being able to teach, but at first I was unwilling. I'm like, this bitch just talking out the side of his ass, his young
Child,
ass.
you was unwilling before you met him. Child. I know.
But I do think that missing male role model or somebody who could teach me that was older than me, that was like would look after me, like what male is doing that for me that's older and able to teach me something is a part of like that yearn for like, no, Donnie, go in this direction. I can tell you why because
Yeah.
of this experience.
And like you said, it's the in the perfect world. So do you find yourself like, or not now, but like, would you find yourself hypothetically, intentionally looking for that, or would you just be like, if it happens, it happens. I'm still gonna kind of date the way I normally do, or would you be intentionally looking for that?
I don't think I was intentional at all because I don't think I knew. I don't think I knew until like 2019 that was because prior to 2019 and even afterward, who I dated, it's been all over the place.
Yes.
5 years older, 2 years younger, same age.
Bum.
You know,
Bum, got it together.
Uh,
It has been all over the place.
I'm talking about the age part of it. Like
Oh,
I never like looked at somebody and was like, oh, he's older, he's wiser. I didn't even know that that's what I wanted until I like took an introspective look at myself. Like, this is why you want to join a frat, and not realizing that joining a frat maybe because I didn't get it, but like also like realizing like that's not just like for platonic situations too.
experience cycle.
But yeah, I didn't know his age when we first met, so I did not, and I'm glad I didn't because I probably would have never
Yeah.
met him because
Definitely would with me. Like,
Mhm.
I did not ask him how old he was until I met him and I could feel that young ass energy. And I was like, "How old are you?" He was like, 23. Right. And I was like,
Okay.
23. Well, we're having such a good time. Okay. And I met him the night before your baby shower.
Mhm.
Like literally, I was so hungover at your baby shower because we stayed up all night drinking, talking, and I was like, "Oh my god, I gotta go to my best friend's baby shower in the morning." 4 hours of sleep.
You didn't let it show.
Child, I
At
felt it.
all.
I felt it. I went right home and we both called off of work the next day and spent that Monday together. And I was like, first night, 2 nights. That's kind of interesting.
That's a cancer for you.
And those are experiences of why not.
Hello.
And
That's true.
just
Period.
if something feels right, it feels right. And I think of like, yeah,
Why
my two relationships that were those age gaps, like you just, I mean, if it feels right, you just feel it feels right. I mean, whether I guess it works out or not, but at that time, like, okay, well, we're hanging out. This feels good.
Right.
You know, go for it.
Let's go for the vibe.
But see,
Okay.
my problem is I vibe with just about anybody, so I can't
Regardless
go
of
off
me
that.
too, actually. Like I
It
go
don't
to
take much to vibe with me.
I'm a college student and like I go to school with 19 and 20-year-olds and like we be vibing in the class. Like so I'm turning these kids into barbs
Oh,
one
no.
by one.
Oh, Jesus. He must be stopped.
But okay, so I have two more questions before we wrap this up because this is gonna be a shorter show. But one of the questions is really interesting to me because there's a lot of hoopla going on in the media right now because Drea Michelle
Oh Lord. I don't want to talk
is
about it.
is dating a
I
young
really don't want to
man
talk about her.
that she is pregnant by. Drea is 39 years old. Because I like facts. I hate when people be like, "Oh, she's 40, she's in her mid 40s, she's 39." Um, and this young man is 22, which is I think he's 10 months older than her oldest son. So there has been some backlash about this relationship and her being pregnant by
He's a
him.
basketball player.
Yes, he's locked in a $40 million contract right now.
There, I mean,
So-
that's reason one
Okay.
Hello?
or two or three or whatever.
I'm gonna start by saying
For real.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not.
either.
I'm not mad at it because for one, men do it all the time, and for two, he's grown and she's grown. After 21, you're grown. You can drink at the bar. You can legally consume alcohol. Now I know that there's an experience thing and the manipulation thing we talked about before. However, I don't know if that's what Drea is doing. And since I don't know that, I'm not judging the relationship based purely on the fact that he's the same age as her oldest son. To me, that's irrelevant in my opinion. It's like the same thing with Laura Pimpin and
Mhm.
Michael Jordan's
Oh, yeah.
son. I don't care. That and he's our age. He's like 32, and everybody's making this big hoopla because she's like 47. I'm like, he really grown. Like,
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't care either. At the end of the day, it will be what it will be. I think in their family, so I think it always gets a little tricky when you're the people more or less the people involved. I think those two obviously don't care. I wonder how her son feels, even though he's grown. But
Would
that's
you
still
feel
that's
that
still
way?
her. I think it depends on the dynamics of the potentially, yeah.
I
Because
always feel a way about
Yeah.
anything my mama did.
and I was gonna say that,
I
like,
don't. My mama need to be happy too. So my thing is this: as long as my mother, my friend, my cousin is happy, I don't give a fuck if my
mama
30-year-old
good with
cousin.
me.
But I'm talking about in the moment where they're introduced. You're judging it after the fact. But I'm in that moment where it's happening. As long as they are happy, I do not care. My 30-year-old cousin can be dating a 70-year-old man. I might crack a few jokes, but like, girl, I really don't care in the grand scheme of things. If you're happy, you like it, I love it. I don't have to sleep with him. So I don't understand why we be so invested in other people's decisions. Like they affect our daily lives, like on a level of who they love. Like to me, it's kind of like the same thing about people being mad about gay marriage. Like, why do you care? Don't marry a gay person.
Well, I think it comes down to like, yes, a person is grown, they're gonna do what they want to do. I think some of us or many of us have been in situations that have maybe not, well, we might not have technically agree with. We knew that it's not best for, or we know that our friend or relative is not benefiting from this relationship or this person isn't healthy for them, but all you can do is support them, and you learn
That's
after.
different.
So,
That's very different.
and that's what I was saying. That's where.
That's the thing. That's the type of situations it was.
Yep. And that's how it is for my mom too. My mom has never dated anyone that has been worth her or treated her the way she deserved. And
Straight out the gate, damn near. As soon
Yeah.
as they hit that 2-month mark, they start showing
Mhm.
their ass.
and I think that comes with a level of like trauma for us as kids and how we handle it, right or wrong. But it's more just like really just protective of like parents. So in
How
this,
much protected can you do
There
though?
have been
You
guys
can't.
that have come
You-
to my
exactly.
mom's life who have treated her right, and I've been nice. Hey, Uncle Al. It's been a few. However, it's been very many who have came off.
A few
and-
that were older or younger than her?
Yeah.
Like significantly?
Like, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, there was one significantly older. I ain't gonna say his name just in case he like still dating the chick he was dating back in the day. But there was an older man, very much so. We was driving his Escalade. He was getting a Quest car for us. He kept groceries in our house. He was a very, very, very nice man. Very nice man. He was gonna buy me my first car. Very nice. He was exceptionally older than my mom.
Maybe I have a different perspective because my dad was 40 when my mom was 28 when they had me. So there's a 12-year age gap there. My mom, my sister's dad is 9 years older than my mom. So I'm kind of used to there being a
My
significant
dad is a
age
decent amount
difference.
older than
True.
my mom, too,
So
actually.
my
Like 10
mom's
years
dating
older than her.
choices have always been 5 or more years older
But
than
still,
her.
like even with her, even when she's chosen older guys, there have been some crappy ones. She's chosen some younger ones. There have been some crappy ones that have showed their ass right away. And if you show your ass, I'm gonna show my ass because she don't have nobody to defend her. Her brother is gone. Her father has passed. My grandfather is old. You nigga, you do something wrong to my mom, I'm gonna kill you. I've already stabbed a nigga over her. I don't give a fuck.
and it's kind of similar where it's only been me and my mom. We're the only people here in Milwaukee in our entire
So,
family.
but like based off age alone, if she brought someone home that was your age,
Oh,
based off the age
yeah.
alone,
Yeah, I don't care. I think
I don't
more.
give a fuck about that.
I think it would maybe be some like just normal
Like, how
conversations
are you
and
treating her,
questions. The way that if any of us started dating somebody and you talk to your friend about it, like I don't really
Nobody
care.
got me no
It's more.
pushback.
That's what I'm saying. No one
I did
cared.
at first.
I
At
don't
first, when you
remember that.
first hold on, I can tell you. When you first told me his age, well, actually, it wasn't because of his age. Let me take that back. It was because of how close I felt it was after your last situation. So I was just a
A
little.
year and a half is close. The relationship wasn't even a year and a half.
I'm
So
just,
how long am I supposed to wait?
sir. I'm just telling you the
Let-
conversation that we had. When you-
I feel very
I
tears.
I don't remember how long it was when you first mentioned him to me, but it seemed rather close.
Well, a year and a half goes by quickly.
And my concern was that you hadn't really gotten a chance to live. And that's the conversation that we were having. I was like, but if you're happy and this person is, whatever, then go ahead. Like, just don't get, serious too fast. And you didn't. You took your time. Y'all took your time and really, figured it out. And then
I
once
don't
I got
remember
to
that
meet him,
conversation.
I was like, oh my God, like, he is everything. Yeah, we definitely had a conversation because I was hesitant, but it wasn't just the age thing.
Well, I will say that you
The
wasn't the
age
only
thing.
person who was like, "Oh, that was quick," and I was like, I was so confused as to how that. I'm like, literally, the time we've been apart, me and my ex have been apart, was longer than the whole time we was together. So I'm like, why is this? Why did this seem quick to so many people? But I guess a year and a half when you look at it, because it
You
ended
have
in
to remember too,
2022.
you didn't even announce to people right away that y'all was having issues or that y'all was even separated right away. So a lot of people don't even know when y'all was initially separated.
Yeah,
To be
well,
honest, so you got to give some people some grace. Granted, I knew, but
I feel like
it
some
did
people need to
still
mind their
feel.
business.
Well, that too. It
I don't.
felt
Let
at
me
the
tell you
time,
something.
I
When,
was nervous.
what I hate about it is that I do not comment on other people's love lives, but it feel like everybody feels like they have such free will to comment on mine. I don't tell nobody what they should be unless you ask me. What do you think of this person? How do you feel? I don't offer unsolicited advice about you and your relationship. So if you come to me like, "Hey, Donnie, I have this problem," then that initiates a conversation where you will get some feedback. But I will never come to you and be like, "I don't like this person," or "I feel like that's too fast." who are you and what entitlement do you feel like you have over the next person's life to start offering advice they didn't ask for?
It's not necessarily entitlement, but for me personally, if I'm on this roller coaster ride with you, if
Get
I'm
off.
sitting,
Stop investing in yourself.
if I'm in
If
the,
he is in an abusive
I
relationship, he
can't
love
even
it.
finish my sentence.
Goodbye.
I
feel
can't
very
even finish my
attacked.
sentence. I can't even finish my sentence. I can't even finish my
If you're on this roller
sentence.
coaster ride by choice, go ahead.
If I'm on this roller coaster ride with you, if I'm sitting in the hospital with you, if I'm shedding tears with you because the stuff that you're being put through is hurting, me to see you go through it as well, that is why. Because regardless, even
That's life.
I say for instance, it was just word of mouth or it just came out on social media or something. Like just for me knowing you the way I know you, it's gonna make me cry and hurt for you and anybody really
I've
because
been
that's
on the
just who I
same roller coaster
am.
ride with all of y'all, and I don't do that to y'all. I do not. I
Okay.
don't do that to y'all. Y'all have not all had cookie cutter perfect relationships where I'm sitting here like I'm your biggest cheerleader. Y'all have all dated people that I don't like. However, when it's me, on the other hand, that unsolicited that line is always crossed or blurred. A lot of y'all feel entitled to what I do, and I don't reciprocate that with y'all, and that aggravates me at times because I don't do a lot of what y'all do, but I feel like it's my personality that makes it feel like it's okay because I'm loud, I'm boisterous. But let's look at what I'm loud and boisterous about, what I actually say and speak on. Let's look at that. I do not get into you and Doug's stuff that when y'all go through y'all
Well,
stuff.
I
Or when,
didn't
and this
just
is
hit
years
you up
ago.
and say
Let's just say
this is
that.
how I feel. You brought him and his credentials to the group, and that's when I said what I
As
said.
you've done before in the past in your relationships, and so has Jamal, and so has Alex. These things are not things that I use to be like, I'm gonna interject myself in your next relationship. You went through a lot of stuff with your
But
person
when
that
have
you
I interjected
seven
myself?
7 years ago before you got with the person that you're with now. At which point I did not get in the middle, even though you and him went through so many things. When me and you had conversations about him, I offered you my advice and also my support. And there's no time that I say, this is what you need to do. This or I don't do that to y'all. I don't. And there's a reason for that because I don't want it done to me. So I think it's important to just offer support. And if it's a roller coaster ride that you don't want to be on, get off.
So when have I interjected myself though? Because when have I not supported you?
Nobody said nothing about not support. Did I say that I was unsupported?
You just said get off the roller coaster ride and this and that. So I'm trying to figure
But
out when have
at
I
no
interjected
point did that
myself.
say that I was unsupported. My point was that opinions about when I should date, who I should date, and all of these other things that are interjected, that's the interjections. Very strong opinions about what I should do with my life when nobody else's relationships are perfect. That is the
You
point.
asked though.
The only question I ever asked is what is your initial opinion about this person? I never asked y'all, Alex, have I ever asked you about anything outside of what do you think about this person?
No.
I never asked your opinion. If I come to you with a problem that I've had in the relationship, that's a moment where you could
And that was the question that you asked, and that was my response.
know, because saying, oh, I feel like it was too soon for you to be dating again is none of your business, honestly. So that's the interjection that I'm talking about. Comments like that, and they happen all the time. And I'm not just talking about
Well,
you.
you didn't feel that way at the time because you didn't even remember the conversation. You just were like, "Well, girl, I'm finna do what I want to do," and I was like, "Well, okay, be happy."
Anyway, the second thing that we can talk about this after because I don't want us to argue on
right.
on the
It's a little
mic.
Everybody like,
late.
woo. So I think and I mean I hear what you're saying. I don't disagree with what you're saying at all. I think what you're saying is right. I think it gets just tricky, I guess, when people are investing in different ways. I think it's just the approach, and if it's warranted, or if you're, like you said, if you're asking for somebody from advice, and then it's the advice, not the you should, but maybe a conversation like, well, you know maybe you should think about this or whatever, but at the end of the day, it is your decision. I think it comes out, like, if you're happy and you want to do what you want to do, you are, and you're going to do that. And as friends, all we can do is support that. And and yeah, just be there.
I think that's the one thing about friendships is like you gotta stick with your friends through the decisions they make that you don't agree with and the decisions they make that you do agree with. I can say for me, like especially when we were younger, I know I can admit I would be like, best friend, I think it's a little too soon. And
Back
granted,
then,
that
I
may
would
not
break up
have been
with somebody the next week.
and my I guess back then, I hope I have not done that recently. I don't think I
No.
have done that in a while. But like when we were younger, I guess my perspective was like, I just want you to get to know them a little more because they may end up being crazy or like, So that was like back then. That was like my perspective. But yeah, I don't know. I can agree with what you're saying, but I think I can kind of get both sides too. But like at the end of the day, like you said, you're a grown man. You do what you want to do, and like I can understand, like you don't want people to tell you what you should be doing, you know.
Yeah.
But
And
then I
you have
think
to be careful, like because my thing is also like you have to be careful when when it comes to love, because like
absolutely
romance love, and because that is always going to be a little bit more tender of a spot for a person,
Absolutely.
especially when they're in it. Like
Mhm.
if you have a friend in an abusive relationship, and I've heard people say, well, like, why don't she just leave him, or like,
it ain't that
she being a
easy.
dump.
It's not
It's
that
not that
easy.
easy.
It's not that easy.
Yeah,
It's not that, and a lot of times you don't understand how they were manipulated or how
absolutely.
they, and then people are embarrassed to share the whole story. So that's why I say like it's very important to just be supportive, because you might feel like you have all the facts, but then again,
That's true.
most of the times you don't.
That's true.
You don't know everything that's going on in a person's household, or what they have endured that they're not sharing. So it's important to me to be always be mindful of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Um, I'm
I
sorry.
get
Go
no,
ahead.
I get that because I think between all of us, we've all been in situations where sometimes you just have to figure it out. It is your journey individually, and nothing that anyone can say can help you make that decision. They can help you process things better. It can be great advice from conversations we've had, but it is always going to be ultimately like that person's decision. And then if that person warrants and wants that, or I guess reaches out to that, is the important part. I think of your last situation of marriage, and I'll just speak in I statements. I don't know if I ever really was in favor of that person at any point, but it was always about you. And that's the matter. So it's like, whether it's the beginning and it's okay, or okay, it's this rough spot. We not team this person. All right, we're great. And then it's back. Okay, well,
But see, you and Berto, I've met in the last 6 or 7 years. So like with y'all, it's been very different because I feel like y'all never really interject yourself. Berto even told me before, he was like, "I'm rock. We done? Okay, we done. We together? Okay, we together.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's the extent of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like
It's
I feel
very
like
it. Like, we're together.
whatever
All right,
Donnie is
we're not.
doing,
Okay, bye.
bye, right.
And
So
I think what like Brittany and I's perspectives too. Like we've seen like you go through so much. Like she's been there since first grade. I've been there since like high school, college. So like we've seen a lot. So I think
y'all seen the
too.
same as far as dating. I wasn't dating in first grade, so y'all
Well,
both have seen the
yeah, true.
same
Okay, true.
timeline.
I don't know. You could have had a first grade girlfriend or something. I don't know.
No,
But
but then you
I
also
think
have to like think about, okay, so you with you and Brittany both being there, uh, like seeing these relationships. How many times have you been like this close with the person I was dating?
Once.
For you?
In all
this close.
truthfulness,
Yeah.
once, Scotty.
Yeah, I would say Scotty was probably. But I mean, there's a couple others that I was like cool with. But I think
That's the one
one was like, yeah, there was one that I could say like,
that you
yeah,
feel like this about.
right.
Okay, that's the roller coaster ride to me. If it's extended past like me, and y'all have your own relationship and y'all like this outside of me, then I understand the strong opinions. This is not about just Akeem anymore. It's about my relationship with Scotty. It's about my
No,
relationship. I think one of y'all was close to Myron. I don't know
that
who it
was not
was.
me. For whatever reason.
Someone else.
but
We cool now,
but yeah, but
close.
But no,
uh,
I get your point. I get your point. It's just I think there's a way to say things to people to get your point across. Like sometimes you don't have to be like, you should do this, or you can even ask questions to get that person thinking about certain things. You don't necessarily have to tell.
Oh,
the
you good at
person.
probing
Yeah.
questions, bitch.
Oh, I'm very good at
Yeah.
questions. That's why I'm going into psych.
What do you think
And the
about that?
question
I'm
is,
like,
yeah.
girl, I didn't even think about that.
Because it's not a yes or no question. It's a thought provoking.
And the answer you yourself, the person you asking, has to come up with, and it provokes thought.
And most
It
time you
does.
know the answer, but you want them to answer.
Exactly. Because
too.
exactly, because it's better for you to come up with that conclusion than me to tell you what it is. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
then it doesn't feel like, well,
That's
Alex
why-
is telling me what I need to do. Like, no, you're telling yourself. I'm just
Isn't that
asking.
how therapy's supposed to work? Like they're not supposed to tell you, they're supposed to ask you questions to make you come to your own conclusion. But I do get her point in the aspects that the waters do get muddy when you have, because she's not
You
my
don't get my
therapist.
point because I ain't get to say my whole point.
Well, they said that they got your point, but you didn't say that. But okay. But I think we get the point she was trying to articulate, as you both just said you got her point. But I got the backlash. But so with that being said, the point I think she was trying to articulate, I get that the waters can be muddy because she's not my therapist, she's my friend. So there's a level of care that's going to be that a therapist is not going to have. So yeah.
That's true.
Okay. So it's 8:39.
Oh wait, real quick. I just have
Okay,
one
go
question
ahead.
about our topic.
Go ahead.
So, what if your child was dating someone 17 years older?
That's where I
or
draw the
younger?
line, bitch. No, I'm
Because
sorry.
I like, to me, it's kind of, even though I dated someone 17 years older, to me, it's just kind of weird. Like, I don't care. I'm not.
How
like,
did your mom feel?
Well, when she met him, she didn't know he was that old. And then after we stopped talking, I told her, she said, "Oh, absolutely not. He's too old for you." She did not like, because he didn't look his age.
Mm-hmm.
But like looking at the Drea situation, I'm like, if I'm 39, I personally couldn't see myself dating a 21, 22-year-old.
Yeah.
That's just me. And granted, like there are some people that are very mature for their age in their 20s, and I wholeheartedly believe that. But for me, I personally, that 17 years is a lot. But, and I'm saying this, I dated someone 17 years older. But on the flip side, I don't think I could date someone 17 years younger. And I don't think I want my child to. And this may be biased, whatever. My experiences was it dating someone past 10 years. I don't know. I would just question it. I would question their authenticity and like.
Why is 10 years the
What are you
line?
doing?
Why is that the?
I don't know. I just feel like beyond a decade, it's like.
It's
I
too
don't
much of
know.
a difference.
I'm definitely not feeling it. Not for my kids.
Not for my child. Yeah, and that sounds bad because I guess that's
Because
kind of
you've
contradictory.
done it, yeah. But I do
But-
understand what you're saying because, like I said, from a son perspective, if my mom was dating somebody my age, I wouldn't care. But as a parent, I could see me caring about someone dating someone 28 years, my child dating someone 28 years older than him. So like,
28 years older.
yeah,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
my mom's 28 years older than me. So whoever, if she was to date someone my age, it would be a 28-year age
Oh,
gap.
Yeah.
So-
This is
I
like,
would not agree.
this is like, what are you doing? What are you trying to get? What are your motives?
Exactly. That's a big.
What do
gap.
y'all
Yeah,
really
like, what do
have
you
in common?
find that? I'm not saying that my
What?
daughter or this person isn't attractive, but it's like, because I know how we would look at that. Like, we generally aren't looking for someone 17 or 28 years older than us, maybe
Might be
outside
like-
of a hookup. So it's just like they would have to be this amazing person, and then you find out the age, and then you're like, okay, something like that. But
Well, to answer your question, I agree. Like you said it perfectly. Like if you're that much older than my child, I think you're right. 10 years older than my child is probably where I'd be like, all right, like what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like even if my child 20 and you 30, I'm still kind of like,
Yeah.
at least be in your 20s with them. You could be 28.
Right.
You know.
But it's just interesting how the perspective changes over time because at 20, I'm like, oh, you're 30, you're established, you have this and
Oh,
that
child,
versus
bye.
people my age, you ain't got your shit together. So, like, from that perspective and that vantage point, it's like, ooh. But then when you become 30, and then, well, no, I'm not going to say 18, child. That's way too young. But, like, they're grown technically. But, like,
Yeah,
I
they're
don't know.
grown. But
It's-
another reason why I used to say 25 too is because the frontal lobe is
Yeah.
not developed until that age. On average, some people develop it a little earlier, some people develop it a little afterwards, but on average, it's 25 years old. So, to me, that's kind of why I was saying 25 because your decision making skills aren't even
Yep.
on average up to par until that age. So
Did y'all think the Marcus Houston situation with his wife
it's so many
was
reasons why that's
weird?
weird. It's not just the age gap.
Because they're
It's
married.
so many.
He's
He was
19.
grooming her. She was 16 when they met. So it
And a
wasn't.
runaway.
Yes, and he was that situation is totally weird for so many other reasons other than their age gap.
And now they
But
have a kid. That's just
and
ugh.
Oh,
and
yeah.
not only that, not only do they have a child, but she's 19, he's like 40.
Yeah.
Like that's even worse than that's almost 20 years
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
more. Cause is he 40 something or is he 30
I think
something?
he's over
I think
40.
he's
Yeah.
40.
He's probably 40. Yeah, he's definitely 40 something. Like, and that's that, like, yeah, like you said, the manipulation. But then not to totally play devil's advocate, because I think about, like, what if I was
Hold on 1 second. Is she still 19 or she's like 22 now or something like that? Because I'm trying to get the age. He's 42 and she is. Trying to look you know I don't like your people.
So she's 20.
Okay, that's 22 years.
Like, what if, at some point we're all going to be like 41 or 42.
Oh, sorry. There's a 19 years age difference. So she's 22.
Oh,
No. Yeah.
2023. And so we're 42. We meet. We're not going to meet them at 16. We'll just meet them at 23.
And we're 42.
Yeah, and we're single, whatever. Like, because that person's attractive, but I guess we recognize ours. But we're all gonna look great at 42 as well. So it's just like, do we hold ourselves back as a 42?
Hooking up
But
with
do
You
you
get
try
a
to
little
date?
yang. You can hook up.
Do you try to
You
date
don't
them?
marry
Is
the
it wrong?
22-year-old. You can
Unless,
fuck 'em.
unless it turns into that, like, I'm trying to control you or have these dynamics of I'm the provider and then you're the 22-year-old young boy, or well, I guess for all us boys, young boy.
I understand the need for control that much.
Yeah.
I just don't want to. I don't want to control nobody like that.
That
Like,
plays
for
into
what?
a predator's mind. You have to, like, when people talk about Trey Songz and they say like, oh, well, he's so attractive, like why would he have to rape a because it's the control factor of it. He wants to control it. Like that's a predator's mind is not wired like ours. Like it's they're weird, bro. So like they can't they make sense of things that we will never understand. So okie dokie. General consensus, 10 years or more, axe it. Is that right? Everybody 10 years or more, that's the extent that we can agree. Jamal, I think Jamal would do more. In the other direction, not the I think I could see you with a nice, well, you're 31.
30.
He said, "Don't add the one. Don't add the one."
I just like, okay, I just turned 33. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know you're 2 years younger than me. Okay, so he's 30. I can see you with a nice 45-year-old gentleman caller.
I couldn't. There's been older gentlemen that have been interested in me and hung out. Person I was hanging out is older than me. I mean, we're just hanging out. But it all just depends. It depends on the vibe. So like the person that was 42 or whatever, like we met at a bar, we kept in contact, we met up once. It was cool. He's still cool with freaking but like it's someone I had to kind of just like, I'm not really looking for that right now, or at least not from you. And that's always a hard conversation to have.
Oh, that's the one that
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's very just like, and it's not that like you're not attractive or not successful, things like that, but it just gotta feel right, I guess, or you have to really be attracted to them.
But I don't know. I could you because you're mature in your mindset. I could see you, but it wouldn't ever work for me.
If they give in what they need to give, like I could be with a John Legend or maybe I'm just kind of fickle and shallow just a little bit. Like they gotta look a certain way,
I think we all are, especially she won't date a short man. But anywho,
And don't come on a first date with dirty nails and all kinds of.
oh my lamb.
That's the Virgo.
What if he's a construction worker?
That's different. I mean,
Okay,
I guess
Lord,
if you're
give
just
the man
coming
some
from
grace.
work, I'll give you some grace. But like, if you're trying to dress up and like, no, I
The man just came
I
fresh out of the
analyze.
penitentiary. Give him a break.
Okay, so I went on a date with someone. They had a bunch of plaque in their teeth. Should
Okay,
I
no,
give them
no,
grace?
no, absolutely not. No, no. That is one of the most.
Did you finish today?
I did, but that was the last date.
Ooh, child.
Yeah, I have a.
That
I
was
can never.
nice.
I can never end nothing early. Like when I don't like, and I know I don't like them, whether it be physically or personality
Same.
wise. I can't just be like, yeah, I don't. This thing. I
Same.
have to finish it and then ghost them.
Yeah, same. And that's what happened. That's what happened.
I'm not
Uh,
looking at plaque the whole night, fam.
Dude.
You better start looking at your phone or something.
No,
when you
fuck
talking.
that. I'm gonna be texting my sister, bitch. Call me. Pretend it's a family emergency, bitch. 911. The fuck? No, I'm not sitting there the whole time. Not plaque.
Yeah,
And
thick.
I've been on some disastrous dates that I have sat through. I'm not sitting through no damn plaque. I'm not.
It looked like he had just gotten done eating bread, and like the bread was stuck at the bottom.
Girl, please stop. Please stop. Before I throw up all on this mic.
Somebody without a dentist.
Oh,
Right.
but you know, some people. This is a whole other topic, but real quick, some people really don't brush their teeth frequently. I just had to, in clinical, had to educate a 15-year-old boy on the importance of brushing his teeth because he only brushes his teeth once a month.
Yeah, there are some kids out here
And
like that.
Wait.
He said, "I drink a lot of water, though."
That's disgusting.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
So,
Misinformation.
Not only is hold on, just in case anybody
That's
watching that needs to
disgusting.
know, not only is brushing important, but flossing is too. Like let's really get them all
And
together.
brushing your
Once
tongue
a
while
month.
you're at
Hello,
it.
hello. So my thing is, who is this person's parents? Like, what the fuck? Once
Oh
a
my God,
month?
I almost want to throw up.
imagine
Like, for real.
imagine his
That's
breath smell like
That he,
And I bet you he smoked weed and drink
he does
alcohol.
not.
Oh,
He binge eats. He's severely overweight. For his age.
Oh.
He
a
got
bunch of
BO?
So that
stinky.
food is sitting in his teeth,
He didn't
though.
smell though. I will say that he did not smell bad.
But the food
So
is
maybe he
still sitting
shower
in his
every
teeth.
day, but just don't
Yeah.
brush his teeth.
That's a part of brushing your teeth is a part of showering.
He
What the
showers
fuck?
every other day, according to him.
Well, I won't shade him for showering every other day because I actually just watched a YouTube video from a scientist who said that we shower too much if we shower every day because we're supposed to allow our body. Some of the bacteria is good and we clean it away if we wash it too much. But I shower every day. Throwing that out there.
And I think,
But I
some
I
people
heard
have
that that's
to.
too
Like,
much.
if you in the-
And I
Right.
mean, he lives a sedentary lifestyle, so he's not really like sweating or anything like crazy.
But
he didn't
you said he
smell.
big as hell.
He is. But
Not all big people smell.
yeah,
That's
he,
true, too.
He did not smell. I will say that he did not smell at all. I will give him that. But some people do not brush their
His
teeth
breath
frequently.
stink? Like, could you smell it?
I had to wear a mask. We had to
Oh.
wear masks.
Lucky you.
I could not smell, but I didn't see
That's why I
plaque.
could never be a dentist. Like the moment somebody come in like that, I'm gonna lose my job. I'm gonna lose my license. I know.
No shade, but we were watching what's some of them shows on Not Us TV? The one where Shamar was on
Zodiac House.
Zodiac House. We were watching the season 2 reunion, and he was doing all that yelling, and I just see, oh my
Ooh.
god,
You
His
saw what?
teeth.
all
Oh
his
my God.
teeth just he
His
got like
tongue
6
is
rows
so white.
of teeth.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you
His
know
tongue
who Shamar
is as
is,
white
right?
as this table.
You know who Shamar is, right?
Yes,
Like,
I know
okay,
he is. Yeah.
he a Pisces. Have the nerve. Be a Pisces.
I just saw a video of him today.
Okay. Oh, you was gonna say something?
I was finna speak on a video I saw of him today too, but
I was gonna wrap it up.
we off topic.
It's going on 9 o'clock. We said we had shit to do after this. We got
I gotta
babies.
text
And...
Beloy though about this video. Hold on, 'cause
Okay.
I
What
forgot.
video?
He was talking shit about Kashmir.
Oh, Shamar.
Yes.
Oh,
and
Lord.
you know Cash is hilarious.
Cashmere,
so she finna eat him
Cashmere.
up.
Cash, the dark skinned girl that fight.
Yes.
Oh.
She finna eat him alive.
Oh, okay.
I'm finna see it.
That shall be interesting.
Okay.
But I guess we will wrap it up about this age gap conversation. Like I said, I guess the general consensus for most of us is that 10 years or more is pushing it. I do think it's about vibes though a little bit too, but 10 years or more is kind of like, okay, you can hook up with anybody that's 21 plus.
Yeah.
Thank you. As long as they old enough to drink, they old enough to get fucked. So
I hooked up with a 19-year-old.
I've never, I think, how old was I? I was 27. I hooked up with a 20-year-old, but he was in his 20s. Ever went And the crazy part is he closer to my age now than Beloit is. Like, that's only 7 years. So, but I never. But I'm not. Well, shit. I'm no judgment. They grown.
Yeah, and it was great.
So,
Big
oh my
old-
god.
big old thing.
Oh my lamb. And with on that note,
Young and packing. All right.
Yes.
we appreciate everybody that watched for watching. Oh no, I can't deal with bad oral hygiene. I would run out. Oh Lord. But
I should have.
It's just run now.
huh?
I'm just laughing at that.
I gotta use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up. I am
Like, I need my
Don,
jacket.
Donnie, Akeem, whichever you prefer.
Brit, Brad, or twin.
Oh, I always want to say short and sweet. Sorry. She just switched it up on me.
Jamal P.
Ma P.
And Allie knew.
and that's for the fucking period.
Nurse Allie knew.
Okay. No, in P.
In your period.
Allie knew.
Period.
And that's that on that. We'll catch
Okay,
y'all next
Title
time.
Friday.
It'll be April.